specifically to decode Kaal Bhairav. I went down the rabbit hole after I um, came across this story about Shiv chopping off one of Brahma's heads because it had grown lustful for its own daughter, Saraswati. So Shiv took the form of Kal Bhairav and chopped off one of Brahma's heads. Uh, and as a consequence of chopping off Brahma's head, Shiv or Kal Bhairav got cursed that the weight of the chopping off the skull of Brahma would be stuck to his palm. He has to walk around, live his life, go on this journey with this till it itself sheds off. And the moment Shiv reached or Kal Bhairav reached Kashi, the skull fell off his palms, his hand, and he was free. He became Shiva again, and that's when he found home at Kashi. So when I was reading this story, I understood one thing, which I understood long back, that our religion and our religious scriptures are not supposed to be taken on face value. They're metaphors. They're metaphors. They wrote these stories for people like us, so that at least the least we could do was this was the least we could understand from them. They didn't expect us to go deep because they thought that we won't go deeper because they thought we were stupid or whatever. But they wrote down all these things so that they continue. These stories continue from generation to generation. And the right people decode them. Right people? Okay. So, I'll read down the notes that I have from the story from when Shiva chopped off one of 5 Brahma's heads. My random epiphany. So, I'll read what I wrote down. The head that grew out of lust for its own creation, or daughter Saraswati. Kal Bhairav. Shiv took the form of Kal Bhairav to chop off this head. So I want to tell you something that I understood, that Shakti is the flow of energy. Vishnu is the laws of universe. Shiv is the experience, the understanding that we exist, the consciousness. And Brahma is manifestation. Brahma is what is created. Vishnu is how and based on what it's created. Shakti is what creates it. And Shiv is what experiences it. So all these things together create us. We have Shakti, the energetic flow. We have Shiva, the consciousness of understanding this experience. Vishnu, the laws that govern everything that goes on in this world. And Brahma is creation, what is created. So we are all one big Brahma, balanced on the laws of Vishnu, the realm of Vishnu. We are walking gods. So now coming back to the story. What I cracked was that Kal Bhairav is time, death, the fierceness of divine timing. What needs to get done, needs to get done. The zeal, the passion, the fire in its shadow aspect is Kal Bhairav. So, Shiva is the consciousness, is the observation, is the understanding of what's going on. The head that got chopped off was evil. It was not a head because Brahma is not material. Brahma is not a human being. It cannot have a head. So the head defines the lust. The head defines a manifestation from trauma. It is a manifestation. It is created through the laws of this universe. But is it right? Is it created from the intention of harmony or selfishness? It was created from lust. It was created from blocked or hidden creative energy, this manifestation. And Saraswati, this lust that apparently Brahma had was for Saraswati. So what does Saraswati signify here? Saraswati signifies knowledge, nurturing, beauty, wisdom, remembrance of past life gifts, alignment, grace. And the metaphor of chopping off the head of Brahma, it doesn't mean that he literally chopped off somebody's head. Shiva is not a human being. It doesn't have hands or swords to chop off somebody's head. And Brahma is also not a human being that had 5 heads. No. These are frequencies, these are phenomenons. So when we say that Shiva chopped off his head, Brahma's head, the story means is that Shiva put down or took down any or every creation that came from trauma, that came from lack, non-alignment. So Brahma, this head of Brahma, that is a manifestation, was created from consciousness. That is Shiva. Shiva created this head. Shiva created this head. And he understood that this is not a good head. This is lustful. This is evil. Because Shiva grew. So I'll read next what I understood from all this. I know this is a lot to take in, but this is how I think, ADHD brain. So what do I understand from this story? What I understood was Shiva did shadow work. Shiva did a lot of shadow work. Okay? And he did a lot of shadow work to reinstate his morals. Of course, we unlearn. That is the process of shadow work. We unlearn stuff. We understand that why our life is so miserable. Because we create from trauma and not happiness. And he unlearned everything. Put down or let go of everything that came from a place of lack. So this state of Shiva that did shadow work was Kaal Bhairav. Now Kaal Bhairav is not a human being. Kaal Bhairav is not an alien. Kaal Bhairav is a frequency. It is a state that we put ourselves when we go deep inside to heal ourselves, to work on ourselves, to unlearn things that are not good for us, that are not good for anybody for that matter. We embody Kaal Bhairav. Okay? The constant death and reunion with fire, with passion, with hope. That is Kaal Bhairav. You take on this journey, leave everything behind. You're like, whatever I did, whatever I created was not good. I'm letting everything go off. I'm going to strip myself off of everything that has come from a place of lack, just to unlearn it. And then when I learn new things, I'm going to create afresh. So this curse that is associated to this story is that when Kaal Bhairav chopped off Brahma's head, his skull got stuck to his palm. And he had to carry the skull. And he had to live like a beggar. He couldn't earn for himself. He had to beg and feed himself and survive on bare minimum. Okay. That didn't happen. Brahma didn't have a skull. Consciousness doesn't walk. So what really are they trying to teach us? So, Shiva or Kaal Bhairav started doing shadow work to undo or shed off what did not serve him. It was the manifestation of trauma. So after he did this, he was able to break cycles. That's what shadow work does. You break cycles. You identify what karmic loop you're stuck in. You identify your baggage. You identify what's coming from lack. And you by slowly and steadily accept that this is not good for you, no matter how much effort or how much energy or time or resources you used to create something. If it's not good for you, you eventually decide to let it go as a consequence of shadow work. He dismantled his foundation and completely let go of what he had created as a consequence of trauma or of knowing less. All right. So the curse was the skull of Brahma's head was carried by Kal Bhairav because it got stuck to his hand. Okay. So what is this? What is this skull? This is karmic baggage. This is victimhood. Oh, I did this. Oh, you know what I went through? Oh my God, this is my trophy. Okay, all right. You carry your trophy around how much ever you want to, how long you want to carry it. But there is still a gaping hole in your reality that you're missing. Who's going to do the real work? You chopped off something. You let go of something. Something has to come in. You need to prepare for that. How long are you going to carry this head? Then what was the point? Why did you chop off something only just to leave a void there? If something is not right, then it means it's wrong. And if something is wrong, how do you make it right? By doing something about it. You do something about it. You repair it. You cleanse it. You make up for what's lost. So, when he got this head, he carried this head as a mark of his act. He was like, okay, this is what I did. This is a reminder of what happened. I'm going to carry this burden inside my heart, this skull in my hand, okay? I'm going to walk with it. So walking with it, what did Shiv experience? What did Shiv understand? He was doing shadow work. So what is shadow work about? Shadow work is about that, okay, maybe you understood that this job is not good for you and you left the job. You're like, no matter how much money it's giving me, no matter how much this fake sense of security this is giving me, this is actually messing my mental health. It's not good for me. It's not even aligned with my passions. So I will let this job go. Now what? Do you sit with that lost job? Unemployed? No. You do something about it. What's your next step? You look for new jobs. And how do you look for new jobs? By really understanding what you're looking for. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? That is shadow work. Okay. So then Shiva walked around. Shiva walked around with the skull. And in the story, they say he begged for food and this and that. Yeah, because when you leave something, you are in a state of lack. But this is a sacrifice you're willing to make for alignment, for growth, for ascension. You're not scared of letting go. Because when you're taking the right decisions, you're making the right path for yourself. And when you're on the right path, when you're constantly taking the right steps and you're on the right path, you're never in lack. You will always be taken care of. But when you chop off something from your life, lack will come. There is a space, there is a void. Less money, okay, less freedom to do whatever you want to do. If you leave a job that was not good for you, next month you're not going to get any salary. You'll have to cut down your expenses. You might not be able to party as much. You will try not to burn all your savings, right? Live like a beggar, basically. So that's what also the story tells us, that Shiva walked around with that skull as a beggar. He went through lack, he went through starvation, he went through a lot of questioning. A very, very hard journey. Shadow work is not easy. So so in the story it says the moment he reached Kashi, this skull fell off his hands. Okay, and he was free of this curse. And finally he came back to being Shiva and not Kaal Bhairav anymore. And now Kaal Bhairav gatekeeps the city of Kashi. Because that's still where Kaal Bhairav's journey was. In Kashi, it's Shiva. It's back, Shiva. From all this, what I understood was that when Shiva, as Kaal Bhairav, when he was doing all the shadow work, learning and unlearning, the falling of the skull means that he has actually transmuted everything he needed to. So all the energy that he had put in the wrong place by manifesting this fifth head, lustful head of Brahma, he took back all that energy and worked, understood what he was supposed to do with this energy. And he gained new information, new insights by shadow work, through alignment, through inner work. And then he put this energy somewhere else. And the moment this baggage of energy was off his hand, the skull fell. It's not the skull per se, it is the baggage of energy. This is responsibility that when Shiv chopped off, or Kal Bhairav chopped off that head, he took on that responsibility that, okay, if I'm taking this thing out of from here, I'll make sure that I put it in the right place. And putting energy right in the right place, realigning something, is not an easy job. It is shadow work. It is the dark night of the bloody soul. Because the first thing you do is ego death. That happens. You don't do it. It just happens. Ego death. Second, breaking of all illusions. Third, unlearning stuff. Probably unlearning everything you've learned throughout your life. Understanding new things, new concepts, redefining things, redefining relationships, redefining how you see yourself, how you treat the world, everything. So this is what Shiva did. Consciousness. Okay. So, through all this practice of shadow work, Shiva grew patience. He unlearned everything that was not aligned and became more passionate, more compassionate. The ego death of Shiva. Ego death is Kaal Bhairav. So technically, Kaal Bhairav is the deity of the dark night of the soul. Kaal Bhairav is ego death. Okay, Kaal Bhairav is ego death. So as a wanderer, Bhairav reaches the city of Kashi, Varanasi or Benares. The skull couldn't enter the city, so it fell right outside the city of Kashi. This skull defines spiritual debt. Like I said, it is a responsibility. That if you've taken something out from here, you put it in the right place. This is a baggage on you. You did this to yourself. So, this is so much that I've written, but I'll tell you what it really means for me. So Shiva is, if we find Shiva in ourselves, it is our consciousness, aligned consciousness, enlightened version of us, of our soul. Not the human version that's just doing whatever it wants to do. No. The enlightened version of us is Shiva. That frequency, that state is Shiva. And when we see that how our sad life is a consequence of our own doing, we embody Kaal Bhairav. Ego death. We're like, oh, if that person treats me this way, it is actually because I let them do this to myself. It's not on them, it's on me that they're treating me this way. And that's ego death. That's Kaal Bhairav. That is embodying Kaal Bhairav. And when you understand this, when you embody Kaal Bhairav, you see through everything. You see through why something happens to you. You see through why somebody did this to you. You see through why somebody crossed your boundaries, why somebody put you down, disrespected you. Why are you not happy in your life despite of doing everything you can? Because you identify the manifestation of trauma. You identify how your life, how your physical world is a representation of all the trauma that is within. As within, so without. So embodying Kaal Bhairav, the state of shadow work, the state of ego death, you start looking and picking every part of your life that is not aligned with you. This is just an illusion. Actually, this person does not make me happy. They make me feel miserable about myself. This job gives me money, but what is it taking from me? My peace, my time, my will to live. So do I want to still be stuck in this, or do I really want to push myself and do the hard thing and do the right thing? The red pill and the blue pill concept. So I was like, I want to take the red pill. I'm not in the blue pill. I don't want to be in this illusion anymore. Because who am I satisfying with this illusion? Nobody. I am miserable. And that's my reality. I have the best job in the world for everyone to see, but I am so sad and depressed. I want to die every day. What's the point? This is the blue pill. And the red pill is seeing through everything, understanding why something is not working out and working on it, taking the tough decisions, making the hard calls, and just going for it, embodying Kaal Bhairav. So when finally Kaal Bhairav transmuted all this energy, finally when you and we together transmute all this energy, like, okay, I'm leaving all these people. Okay, I'm leaving everything that is not right for me, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much I feel secure with this, but I'm not going to stay in this anymore. I'm not going to allow this another day in my life. Now what? So what do I really do? If not this, then what? What is the right thing? And that right thing you gain through meditation, through shadow work. Kaal Bhairav guides you, Ma Kali guides you. Shiv ascends. Shiv ascends. Your consciousness ascends. Shiv grows within you. And you learn more about life, about everything, how everything works. Shadow work is really, really intense, guys. It can really break you and or make you. If you leave it halfway, you are broken forever. It is tough, but you do it. Why? Because you believe you deserve happiness, the truth, the clarity. You want to align yourself with the best possible outcomes for yourself and for everyone. If you love yourself enough, you will be able to do this. If you're like, no, it's not about me, what will that person think about me? You're stuck in an illusion and nobody can help you there. You take the first step and then everything else follows. But you have to take the first step. So from this story, let me see if there's something more that I wrote, something more interesting. The manifestation of trauma. Yeah. So through this shadow work, through this journey about Shiva and Kaal Bhairav, what I really understood was that all Shiva was supposed to do was to not accept anything less than what was right. This way, all these energies, all these things got sent to where they were supposed to go to. All this energy that I'm using to impress others, all this energy that I'm using to feed my ego, I take all that energy back from those places, from those people, from those connections, and I try to put it in the right place. This is transmutation. Intention, understanding, clarity is transmutation. The moment you understand what you're supposed to do with this energy, it's transmuted. It is like that. It happens. So he had to let go of opportunities he had manifested from trauma. He had to let go of gifts from people that were manifested from trauma. He had to let go of bad habits, addictions. He had to gain spiritual discipline, inner balance. He let go of everything till he finally knew that he was home. When he reached Kashi, the skull fell off and Bhairav surrendered to softness and vulnerability. So the end of the story is that when Shiv attained his peace back, he understood he did everything, he fulfilled his responsibility, he unlearned what he was supposed to unlearn, he came back to his true self. He came back to his true self. And Kashi is Shiv. Kashi is how Shiv is. Kashi is a manifestation of Shiva's heart. The highest Shiv ever felt, the best, the happiest Shiv ever felt is Kashi. So when he attained Kashi here, he became soft, he became vulnerable again. He didn't have to be Kaal Bhairav anymore. He didn't have to be this ruthless, angry guy, stripping off everything of him. Because everything is bad, what is good, what is bad, what is not nice, what is not higher, what is lower, what is high frequency. He let go of this. He didn't need this form of himself. He didn't need to be this angry. He didn't need to be this driven. He could take a pause. He finally fell in love with himself. Finally saw his true potential. That is Kashi. Shiv came home. Shiv came back to himself. I think however we read these stories, if you resonate with this version, my version of the story or not, nonetheless, what's happening is happening. However you choose to look at it, God is still doing all this. Energy is still flowing. We are still constantly manifesting, in touch with a lot of energies, interacting with everything visible and invisible. This is just my attempt to take it a few steps deeper, to really understand what these scriptures are trying to tell us. Because now there's so much radiation, there is so much distraction, there's dopamine hit everywhere that we really don't use the time to sit with ourselves and meditate. Sit with ourselves, confront our emotions, like our ancestors used to do. And no wonder they wrote these versions of their experiences. No wonder. They were so in touch with themselves. And we are fools. We are fools. We're like, लक्ष्मण ने सुपनका का नाक काट दिया. Are you sure? Why would somebody chop off somebody's nose? They disrespected them. तुम कह सकते मैंने नाक कटवा दी तुमने, तुम्हारी इज्जत गिरा दी तुमने. He could have disrespected Surupnaka because she was not very beautiful. So he humiliated her or bullied her in any way. But naak kaat diya. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Let's stop for a while. Let's try this. Let's experiment this. Let's experiment not taking our stories at face value and understanding what are these stories really trying to tell us? What were our ancestors really trying to convey? Why are these stories followed from generation to generation? So that they can finally reach people like you and me, who can understand what was really going on. What our ancestors were really trying to tell us. Rather than following this bhed ki chal, sit with yourself and see, would God just sit there and do all this just for the sake of stories, tales, or learning, experiencing, and teaching? Why do God exist? For entertainment? For stories? No. The stories of gods are translated for the layman in this way, so that we can understand them. Reiterated through generations and generations. They got in the hands of powerful, corrupt people, and they changed concepts. They changed the metaphors. They changed a lot of things according to how they wanted to use religion for power purposes. But nonetheless, let's go one step deeper. Any story from any of your scriptures, just try to see what's going on beneath the surface. I'll start with this trifecta. Again, Kali or Shakti is the energetic flow. Vishnu is the laws of the universe. Brahma is manifestation. And Shiva is the experience, consciousness. Keep these 4 things in mind. And then see how the meaning of every story changes in your head. How do you go one step deeper and then deeper and then deeper down the rabbit hole? Shakti, the flow of energy. Vishnu, the laws of the universe. Brahma, manifestation. Shiva, experience or consciousness. They're not humans. They don't have heads to be chopped off. They don't have arms. They don't have legs. They don't ride on animals. They don't have Sudarshan Chakra. These are metaphors. Gods are frequencies. Gods are states. Gods are phenomenons. And the moment we look at these stories this way, my God, my God, no more illusions. We will learn exactly what our ancestors were trying to teach us. Their messages will be conveyed to us just perfectly. And thank God for all these stories to have passed on from generations to generations so that they reached people like us, people like me. So I could really sit with them and understand what was really going on in their head. What were they trying to tell us? What are the secrets of this universe? How to ascend? What's beyond the illusion? What's after death? What's before birth? Who's creating us? Where do we come from? Why do we even exist? Yeah, I had all these existential questions when I was 5 years old. and thank God I know what's really going on now, finally. I hope you understand all this too. I know not a lot of people stayed throughout the live session, but my job is to put it out there. My job is not to teach people, but to find people, if you know what I mean. Okay, I have a lot of comments. For real? Damn. Say what? What? What, Advaita? I still have the thoughts. Well, this is just my way of saying or understanding the story. I'm sure there are more layers to it. With time, I'll decode them. I have taken the red pill. I have chosen to take the red pill. I've completely ignored the blue pill. And I'm glad I did that. Until next time, guys, I hope, I really hope I've not disturbed anyone with my opinions. And if I have, rest, drink some water, cool down. And for the people who really get to hear this, I had to do my part, and that's it. All right? Take care, all of you. Bye.